Nice.
What? I was just looking at her. I was just looking at her ass.
Hey, go on, love. Just saying, she might like it. Just ask her if she needed a daddy.
The man in the grey suit is staring at you. Would you report it? It's him again. You can feel his breath. Would you report it? Is that his bag? He's not carrying one. 1 second, 2 seconds. Would you report it?
What? What?
Nothing.
I can stand here.
Yes.
Oh my days.
How's he going viral? Oi, look at the body on that.
You give us a smile.
Mate,
It's rude to ignore people, you know.
mate, that's not okay.
Enough.
Look at me when I'm talking to you. Just show me the messages. Give me the phone.
Enough. We can let victims of coercive control know that support is available. You okay? I'm here if you need to talk.
You alright, yeah? Sure, listening, man. Want a crisp? Go on, have a crisp. Go on, have a crisp. Bit of a moody one, isn't she? A little bit rude, to be honest. God, geez, am I really that bad?
My taxi's nearly here.
Taxi?
Oi, Jacob, you're not gonna say anything?
You ever get the feeling that everything in America is completely fucked up?
Anti-Semitism.
Get up in the morning, slaving for bread,
That's it.
so that every mouth can be fed.
Let's get one thing straight. Guns don't kill people.
Get up in the morning, slaving for bread, so that every mouth can be fed. On my kids, up on a leaving. Darling, she said I was the Shot them a tear up choices ago. I don't want to end up like Bonnie and Clyde. After a storm, there must be a calm.
Israel has never had a better friend than President Donald J. Trump.
Gold jacket, green jacket, who gives a shit?
I think some apologies are in order.
Is that from the Trojan box set?
Probably.
Yeah, I think it is.
I mean, it's not where it's originally
No.
from, but yeah, Desmond Decker.
Yes.
Yeah, he showed up on a lot of those. I mean, the Trojan box set's basically every song that was ever came out of Jamaica.
Yeah.
From like 1950 to 1990.
And it's, isn't it? It's chronological too. It starts out with like the rock steady stuff.
I don't think so. I think it's more based on style.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because
I remember there was like a rock steady kind of set.
Yep.
And nice.
Yeah.
I love old reggae so much.
I know.
Yeah.
Me too. One of my favorite things about it is just how poorly it was all recorded.
Yeah. Oh, it's like part of the charm.
Totally.
It's like old country.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like kind of lo-fi.
Right. Yeah, and then you...
Same thing with country. Like newer reggae.
Yeah.
It's rough.
Totally.
It's a rough listen.
Newer country with like the strings in the background and just like so overproduced.
The hip hop beat.
Yes.
Rapping in the middle.
Snow?
See Snow.
Yeah.
That guy was a legit tough guy though. Grew up in the projects.
Yes.
In like Vancouver or Edmonton.
Toronto, I think.
Toronto. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually did a dive on him.
Me too. I watched a few videos.
This
about
clown. I'm like, he's pretty legit actually.
That happens every time. Doesn't matter who it is. You do a deep dive and you're like, yeah, those Hanson brothers, they're just...
That's some bangers. Yeah. Think about it.
So, Desmond Decker was a Rastafari, not a Rastafarian. right, Jake?
Correct.
Right, we wouldn't want to call him a Rastafarian. That would be offensive.
I don't mind, but he may take offense.
Yeah, if we didn't want to offend Desmond Decker. So you and I were having a conversation the other day. I was thinking about the Rastafari movement or religion. Like, what is it exactly? Because if you look at their iconology or ography, there's always like a Star of David. Yeah. And there's always these references to the Old Testament in it. Like, is it Christianity or what is it? Yeah, in Zion. And so I was just kind of curious with, like Israel Vibration. Like, what's the deal? Are they Jewish?
Zion. They're constantly talking about Zion.
Yeah.
Zion and Zion. Yeah.
So I looked into it a little bit, and this is obviously very, very shallow dive. But turns out Rastafarians believe in Zion. Rastafari believe in Zion. But they don't believe that Zion is in Israel. They think it's in Ethiopia.
Right.
Which is kind of interesting because
this is where them and Ted Cruz part ways on their ideology.
Exactly.
Well, that's the oldest version of the Bible, right? The Ethiopian.
It's a very old version of the Bible that, have you dug into that at all?
Not
It's pretty interesting. I think Mel Gibson is making a new movie right now about kind of based on the Ethiopian version of the Bible. I don't know if that's the oldest version or just a really old version. I don't know enough about it.
I haven't done.
I don't believe that the Orthodox Church fathers accept the Ethiopian version of the Bible as a, I don't know how
that's about
terminology,
all I know.
but part of the canon of Christianity. But I've often had this argument, mainly in my head, with people that because there is a place that you call, it's a piece of property on the map that you have gone there, labeled it Israel, that doesn't necessarily mean that it is the Israel that is referred to in the Bible.
Yes.
And when I came across this Rastafari thing, I was like, aha. So they're calling Zion this place in Ethiopia, and they have plenty of sources that they can pull from the Bible to back up their claim that this is actually the Zion that is talked about in the Bible. And it's like, there you go. Different people interpret it differently, and you could just call a place on the map whatever you wanted to, and it doesn't mean that it is the place that God was talking about way back when the Bible was written.
Yeah, we've had that discussion before. I'm like, when dorks like Ted Cruz and Mark Levin talk about, they reference the Bible and talk about Israel. I'm like, Israel, the nation state created in 1948, and there's Israel in the Bible, and they're not the same thing just because they have the same name. Yeah, as we said before, like, I can call my dog Jesus and say, according to the teachings of Jesus, it's okay to lick your balls in the sun all day. It's like two totally different things. That's not scripture.
Exactly. So what do you think of that public service announcement that I played in the beginning?
That was very odd. It's I'm always interested because I've seen plenty of commercials like that. It's like they create, some men are fucking scumbags, as we're going to talk about later today. But they go so over the top with it. They're kind of refuting almost like a straw man. It's like, the business guy that's like starts like rubbing her ass out of nowhere. I'm like, this is a little over the top.
The white guy in a suit.
Counterpoint.
Yes.
The British version of The Office.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen it?
That's the only version. I do not acknowledge the American version.
I've never watched either of them.
Well, that
British version is
that kind of humor would lead you to believe that kind of some of what we saw in that PSA actually is the way some of their brains seem like they work over there. I mean, obviously we're talking about satirical, comedic stuff, but yeah, you can't watch the British Office, thinking it's anything like the American version because it's dudes. A girl bends over to pick up a stapler or something, and the guy's asking her, hey, while you're down there.
So I found this video on Reddit, which is like pretty
A cesspool.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's the internet, right? I mean, everything on the internet's a cesspool, but it's kind of left leaning, I would say.
Oh yeah,
right.
Sure,
correct.
So every
it's
comment,
it's like the boomer version of 4chan.
Yeah.
every comment under the video is saying, "Huh, seems like there's just something missing in that video. Just something off," right? Because
Well, I thought it was a parody at first.
it did seem
So did
like this woman says,
Thought it was The Office.
I just remember when my woke college professor told me she gets sexually harassed more on Wall Street by white men in suits than anywhere else in the city. As someone who routinely walks through Crown Heights in Harlem, that always made me giggle. This guy says, I have a couple ideas on how to make this ad more realistic. What? The subway is crawling with white men in business suits, ready to molest you? And then someone respond, only if you are black. Throughout the whole video, it's all white dudes harassing people of color.
Yeah.
Right? And anyone that lives in like England or London, these big cities in England, are like, that's a little off. There's just something about that that's a little bit off. I don't know. I found it kind of funny, so I thought I'd force you guys to watch it.
Kind of like when all the Asian folks were getting jumped by white people.
The Stop Asian Hate movement.
Stop Asian Hate. Yep.
And they just couldn't admit what the real problem was.
Well, yeah, and what's the thing about San Francisco? They will not release like crime statistics or any sort of CCTV footage from a lot of the attacks that happen in the Bay Area.
So you say it would create racism.
And a lot of times they don't.
They were right.
They won't even give a description a lot of times, and that's kind of a dead giveaway usually.
But we did hear about that guy that choked that one person out when the.
Oh yeah, Daniel Penny.
Yeah, he was all over. He fit.
We finally got one, and he's on the subway. It's perfect.
Well, didn't he get arrested and have to go to court?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
And
did he get pardoned? Or that was the Air Force guy.
Beat the charges.
I think he beat the
charges.
charges.
Yeah. The Air Force guy got pardoned by Trump, I think.
Who was the Air Force guy?
Remember he shot the Black Lives Matter protester because he drove his car into the protest, and then the crowd kind of surrounded him in his car, and someone had a gun, I think, and he shot one of them.
Oh yeah, is this like in Texas?
Yeah.
Was it? Yeah,
it was Texas.
Yeah. I think a guy had like an AK, like leveled the AK at him.
Yeah.
If it's the one I'm thinking of.
We might be mixing two together, but yeah. So, people see this going on, and this is like your classic, the government is telling you that white people are the problem, and no one's buying it. You go to the left-wing Reddit comment section, and it's all full of
even if
left-wingers saying, it's something a little off about that. And another similar attempt to trick people into not believing their eyes is happening right now with the Stop Nick Shirley Act that has come up. Have you heard about this?
Yes.
So what they're trying to do is make it illegal to... Are we having technical difficulties over there?
Nope. Well, we were trying to put the one in the middle, but
yeah, it's not showing up. Oh, here they go.
There you go. The Stop Nick Shirley Act is making it illegal to do investigative journalism.
Yes,
basically. And the people, I really do think that this is going to backfire on the corrupt politicians in California.
Good. How so?
Same reason that the left-wing Reddit comment section was full of the truth.
Yeah.
People, and we were saying that 2025 was the year of the truth. Like, people are just becoming immune to being tricked.
They're not having it anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the deal with Nick Shirley? People are taking aim at him, and I kind of couldn't understand why, because what he's doing genuinely, okay, so maybe I got some bias that are blinding me, but what he's doing seems genuinely altruistic. And
I've heard some criticism of him that I thought was worth like taking seriously, but I can't remember what it was. But
he started out uncovering the Somalian daycare fraud was his thing.
Yeah.
And then that kind of made him go viral or whatever. And then he set his sights on California. He goes, it's so much worse in California.
Yeah.
And so now California is trying to fire back at him somehow.
Right.
So the Stop Nick Shirley Act is, I believe, from their vantage, is saying it protects the identity of people involved running fraud schemes. So doxing public officials and stuff like that.
Right.
Which is interesting because these are the same people that, would you apply that to ICE agents too? Or is it?
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. But it's not just public officials. I think it's specifically meant to protect NGOs and people that are doing anything to help illegal immigrants.
Mm-hmm.
This bill was introduced by Rob Bonta's wife.
If you look at, do you know who Rob Bonta is?
Yes.
He's miserable.
Yes.
Yeah.
He is the
big gun grabber.
Yeah, exactly. I was just going to say.
Yeah, he's the guy that when gun laws in California bounced between the 9th District Court and Rob Bonta. That's who's the other guy is. That's who it goes back and forth between.
Right.
Yep.
So here is Nick Shirley talking about it. He opens this up with Rob Bonta defending his record on fraud. He's talking about how he is going after fraud left and right. And,
and it's his wife, Mia Bonta, who is doing the Stop Nick Shirley Act, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Stop Nick Shirley Act.
We've been doing it successfully before certain people in this country decided to think about it for the first time.
However, it was only after I exposed over $100 million in fraud they actually made any arrest here inside of California. What's the truth about the Stop Nick Shirley Act?
So you've heard a lot of people trying to call you a liar. Why don't we just read the bill? I think that's what everybody just needs to know. So in this section of AB 2624, which we call the Stop Nick Shirley Act, it says a person, business, or association shall not publicly post or publicly display, disclose, or distribute on the internet or social media, the internet, the personal information or image of a designated immigration support service provider, employee, or volunteer if that individual or individual entity or organization authorized on the act of their behalf. And that's just some of the language.
And what does that mean, immigration support services provider?
You're exact. See, and that is where the devil is in the details. Designated Immigration Support Services Facility means a facility where immigration support services are provided, including but not limited to nonprofit organization offices, Department of Justice recognized entities, community legal clinics, law offices, accredited representative sites that provide immigration legal services, and healthcare facilities. They threw that into designated immigration support service facilities, healthcare facilities.
And that's where a lot of the fraud is happening. It's in the healthcare facilities.
Yeah, most specifically the hospice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big hospice scams happening.
Just empty buildings where people are collecting hundreds of millions of dollars for patients that aren't there.
So anyone that goes and does like community journalism and goes and tries to investigate any fraud that's going on is going to be hit with a minimum $4,000 fine. Could be $50,000 if it's considered a felony.
Yeah.
So, like, who's that chick that always pops up on Instagram? Adina Lopez? Is that her last name?
Flores?
Flores, yeah. Like, that chick is probably going to get hit with this. If this act passes, she is going to get slammed.
So would 60 Minutes.
Good point.
Seriously.
Well, yeah, that's what I
really
was
good
going to
point.
say.
Yeah.
I mean...
That's what they do.
That's what they did actually with the Somali fraudsters. So I think this is going to backfire. I think there's been so much attention on it, and it just seems like it's getting the worst press in the world that these people are not going to be able to get away with this. And after it backfires, they're not going to be able to get away with this bill. Then all of the attention is going to be on them. Like, so what are you trying to cover up here?
Yeah.
Because that's clearly what they're doing, right? They're obviously just trying to make it illegal to look into what's going on behind closed doors. It's pretty pathetic, and I think they're going to pay for it. Of course, I am very optimistic.
I applaud your optimism. I thought something as straightforward as like Prop 50. I was just like, there's just this. It's so over the top, and like, I was wrong.
Yeah, that's true. But I'm sorry. Like, people under 60 are just not buying this shit anymore. Unfortunately, only people over 60 vote. So,
yeah.
But with enough public pressure, they're not going to be able to pass a law like this. They're not putting it out in a proposition to the voters.
Yeah.
They're trying to just pass this law themselves, which is another telling sign because California passes very few laws.
Yeah.
They tried to make everything a proposition so that the legislators in California don't have to ever get their hands dirty.
name attached to anything.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah, I think it's interesting to see some of the stuff like almost balance out because Gavin Newsom's running for president now. So now he's trying to present himself as like a moderate. Which have you followed? Like, he has like staffers that does this, but he was the big. Remember, it's wide open now. It's gonna happen whether you like it or not. Gay marriage. What was that Prop 8?
Oh yeah,
remember that speech like from I don't know 15, 20 years ago, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And now, but he's trying to pull Trump, talking shit on Facebook, and they are making all kinds of gay jokes about Republican congressmen.
Really?
Yeah. Have you looked into this?
No.
It's hilarious. I was like, man, it's like this guy has no soul. Like he has no beliefs. He has no convictions.
None of them do.
His only belief is that he should be in power, and like however he can achieve that, like he's willing to do it.
We got our primary voting packet, like preparation guide in the mail over the weekend. There are 22 people running for governor in California.
21 now.
He wasn't in there.
Damn shame about that Swalwell, man.
I
He
know.
seemed like such a stand-up guy.
Up and comer.
Dude, I was kind of following that because he's been on my radar for a while. I have like every once in a while, like usually on Sunday, I go out and like weed eat, do yard work, do our gardens. And I want to like just decompress, especially after this podcast. It's like, I don't want to, no news, no politics, no nothing. So we'll work in silence. Or if I just want to like let my brain kind of rot, I'll listen to like Sword and Scale, like a true crime podcast. And it's funny because you'll be listening. They set it up like a story. They found someone murdered, and they're talking about the possible suspects. And I'll go up and like type in one of the suspects' names, just see a picture of him.
Right.
You look at it, you're like, oh, fucking guilty.
Guilty.
That's the guy who did it.
Yeah.
That's how I have always felt about Eric Swalwell. I'm like, I don't know what this guy's got in his closet, dude, but it can't possibly be good.
Looks like a douchebag.
Oh yeah, he's a creep.
Even the name Swalwell.
Swell as well.
He ran for president, remember?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Did he?
Yeah, 2016, I think.
Huh.
Yeah. No, 2020, I think.
Really?
Yeah, he didn't make it very far.
Clearly not. I don't remember.
Yeah. But you know what's interesting?
He's the one that was dating that Chinese spy, right?
Fang Fang. It's, so like, what are we up to? Like how many, because the one victim came out and then now like, what are we up to?
12,
I
think.
So we're out of he said, she said territory.
Right.
He said, they said. It's not.
She
They
said.
wanted to get him out of the race.
Yeah.
'Cause they held all this stuff back. This is what
He said, and that large group over there said, doesn't really roll off the tongue in court like he said, she said did. And it's like, they're all saying similar stuff. And it's, have you looked into the details of this?
No.
It's pretty awful. They drugged them.
Choked
them.
Yeah.
God dang.
Kicked them, according to Tim Dillon, which I don't think is true. He goes, I'm putting in kicking in there. But it's I was actually thinking about this. Okay, so it's just another typical, like, powerful scumbag who was sexually assaulting women over years and thought he was going to get away with it, or just assumed he was going to get away with it, because a lot of these guys do. But what's interesting to think about is that he's not.
Well, you know what his mistake was? Not. You know why he's not getting away with it? Because all these women were of legal age. That's where he went wrong. They were minors. We could just sweep that right under the rug.
All right, you're good. This wasn't some Republican hit job to take out a Democrat. He was taken out by his own party, by his own side.
By Katie Porter.
By Katie Porter, who's a horrific ogre of a human being. And
God,
it came out with the perfect timing because he was trying to run for governor. He was in the way of Katie Porter, who assumes that she should be the governor, right? So if you look at the timing, you got to think about it like this. The way that the timing came out perfectly, so he's out of the governor's race at the perfect time that Katie Porter can now kind of advance and try to take the governorship, which means, because rumors about this guy have been circulating for years, like over a decade, that he was doing this kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And you really got to think about like the layers of evil involved in that, because your coworkers, the people you work with in Congress, they all know that you're doing this stuff,
right?
And you chose not to do anything about it until it became politically expedient to take you out and to release all this information. Mm-hmm. You got to think about like the level of evil of like,
yeah,
the guy in the office next to me is a fucking serial rapist. He's like a true demon.
Yeah, and your reaction is going, yes.
Yeah, or
sweet.
We're not really going to do anything about it until we get the next funding package passed for the bullet train. So we're just going to sit on this for now.
On your side.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, he's running for governor? Like, okay, now we can let all this stuff out. And you got to think about like the layer of like the level of evil it fucking takes to know that you're working with a person that does this kind of stuff and you're not. It's no business of yours.
Yeah, Katie Porter doesn't strike me as being so evil. Like you look at her picture in the voter preparation guide, and you're like, oh, she just seems like a sweet old woman.
What did she
disgusting.
do? She poured a pot of hot soup on her husband's head.
She dumped the thing of hot mashed potatoes on her husband's head, scalding hot, and burned him.
And berated him on top of it.
And then we also had the video of her yelling at her staffer.
Yeah,
like she's an awful person.
You could look at her picture and you're like, horrible person. Kind of like you were saying with the true crime stuff. You pull up a picture of Katie Porter and you're just like, guilty. Yes. Fucking horrific wench.
I had a thought, like maybe you guys let me know where you land on this. Is that there's another kind of level as you kind of peel back the onion on this. Like it's bad. Okay, it's evil enough. This guy is evil, right? And then you have like another kind of layer of all the people working with him, knowing that he's doing this. I'm like, well, as long as it politically works out for us, like we're not going to say anything about it. You know what I mean? So a video comes out of this woman sobbing and recounting like probably the worst night of her entire life. And they're like, bury that video until we get the Nick Shirley Act passed, you know?
Right.
we can't have that out there. And then it becomes politically expedient. Like we need this guy out of here. Like now, like this is the party of believe all women, by the way. And you look at the montage of Eric Swalwell talking about how we need to believe all women. It's pretty... Dude, Jake, see if you can find... This is rich. You're going to like this. See if you can find the last ad put out by Eric Swalwell for running for governor. Will make your skin crawl. Like knowing what we know now. And this came out just like 2 weeks ago.
You know what's another really good litmus test to know whether or not someone is evil? If they want to be governor of California, you can bet that they're an evil scumbag.
Yes.
Well, it's just layers of blackmail. Like,
yeah,
people are blackmailed.
I had to explain this to my son the other day because he was kind of probing about who the governor should be and who's good, and I had to tell him, I'm like, well, the first test for whether or not you be a good governor is whether or not you actually want to be the governor.
Yeah.
And he's like, how come? It's like, well, because the only way that you can get to that height is by being in politics for a long time. And if you're in politics for a long time, you have done so many like awful things to get there or to not be removed from the pool of candidates.
Well, and they want to wrap it with a bow and mail it out. And that they got that whole thing on video, the thing that came preceding the torrent of accusations.
Yeah.
Like, how did that guy fall for that?
Thing, or?
There's one, I think it's like him on a beach with his wife.
Okay.
Talking about what a great husband and father he is.
Mm.
It's a rough watch.
It's dark.
It's him asking his wife if he should run for governor. And she's like, I think he'd make a great governor. You're a great husband. You're a great father. He goes, I think I'm going to think about it then. It's like, dude, it's...
Even if none of this stuff came out, that would be...
yeah, that on its face. And then like a week later, you're like, oh my God. There's another kind of level that I was thinking about, like a deeper kind of layer that we're talking about with these people, is that if you were a serial rapist, which he was, and you know you're a serial rapist, and he did, and one would think, using our everyday, like, functioning human being brain, decent people, is that I'm going to keep a low profile. Because as you ascend in that game, right, is your ascension to power, Congress, and then governor, and then run for president.
You get more and more scrutinized.
The hatches come out because you have one thing that all these other people want, which is power, right? And the more you go up, the more people want that seat, and they're looking to tear you down. And if you know that you had these skeletons in your closet, one would think, at least, go like, I'm going to kind of lay low on this stuff because, it's only a matter of time for these people. I mean, they are coming out, but people are ignoring them. Like, I don't want all this out there and everything, which only leads you to believe like one thing, is that he knew that he did this stuff and he thought it would be fine, which makes me think one thing. He's surrounded by people like this.
Yeah, everyone.
Sexual criminal degenerates.
Everyone
in Congress
behaves that way.
Higher than your normal percentage of your average workplace.
Totally.
I would say.
Absolutely.
You got to think about like the level of evil that would take. And so it's like you're saying, it's like to even get into the club, you'd have to do some like terrible, terrible shit and be okay with it and not think it's a big deal. These people's brains are so warped and so broken. They're like, nah, it's just, we twist off and rape people every once in a while. It's like,
well, you ever heard of Ted Bundy?
The shoe salesman?
Name rings a bell.
He was being groomed for politics.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
He's a black belt, right?
That's the other Bundy guy.
Oh, that's Al Bundy. I'm confused.
No, Ted Bundy, the guy, I think he had a few
joke
bodies
flipped
under
in my
his
mind.
Totally. Yeah, like you said, to be in the club, you have to be a degenerate like everyone else.
And if you had said, like, did you know they're grooming Ted Bundy for politics? I'd be like, holds up.
Totally holds up.
Yeah, I just the level, like, the more I thought about the Swalwell guy, because when all this stuff came out, like, what was your level of surprise? You were like, yeah, another one or whatever. And like we've almost become like accustomed, we've become like desensitized to hearing about politicians being just criminal sexual degenerates. It's like it's not even that big of a deal.
Yeah,
and you have to like pull out of it. You go like, it is a big deal. Like this, like I don't work with anybody that's a serial rapist. And like, for these people, it seems to be kind of the norm.
We knew one person in our long career.
Yes, and he went to prison.
Yes,
as he should have.
It is a club, and if you don't participate in the club, they will try to kick you out. Right? So you look at people that actually have a high moral compass or balance in their lives, and they're just attacked relentlessly.
They're Thomas Massey. They're getting primaried every year.
Or Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Who just gives up. She goes, I'm out of here. Yeah. This place is a cesspool. Yep. Too bad, Swalwell. Rough week. What else you got?
I was a little annoyed by this YouTube video I watched the other day, but it kind of made me think more along the lines of what I was saying earlier.
I want to add something real quick.
Okay.
I had this thought this morning. How, because I was going through like the Eric Swalwell stuff, and there's all this stuff that we just kind of hear about, what we kind of forget about, but it's all connected. These things connect like all these kind of other things that we, as American citizens, just going like, yeah, it sucks, but it just is what it is. You know what I mean? Like they're corrupt, they're sexual degenerates. You know what I mean? Like you get like fatigued by it and you kind of stop paying attention. And I was thinking that, like once a month, you and your wife sit down at the dinner table and organize finances, right? And you go through the bills and everything. And then what you do is like once you buy a house, for example, you go like, we need to set aside a separate account just that we put money in every month in case, because if you own a house, it's inevitable. Things will go wrong. So it's like we need a new roof, the water heater goes out, spruce up the bathroom, like a rainy day fund for when shit goes wrong.
Right.
Congress has that for sexual assault. They have an account set aside. They're like, hey, it's just a given. A certain amount of people are going to fucking rape someone. So we need money. Except it's our money. Like, it's not, them putting aside their paycheck.
Our money.
It's our money. And it gets even just like the more you look at it, because I was talking about like the levels, like it just goes like more and more evil. You're just going like down, down, down. So it's not only you have to wrap your head around, like they have like basically a rapey fund for Congress because they just know they're all
a rapey day fund.
Yeah, rapey day fund. And then the constituents go like, hey, listen, it sucks enough that you're taking our money and putting it in a bank account. So not if, but when you guys rape someone, I understand you're going to need a team of lawyers to ruin that person's life so they don't tell their story or just pay them off or whatever it is. And they're like, can you guys like dial back the raping like a little bit? And they're like, no. And you're like, okay, how about this? Fine. Lesson learned. Can we at least see where that money's going? Like who was on a list, if you will? No.
Or you get like Thomas Massey's like, I'm not gonna rape anyone. I was hoping to get like some new drapery in the office,
like cashed out. When you homeschool your kid, you take money away from the public school. I'm still waiting on that check. As far as I know, I'm still paying those taxes.
Exactly.
We can't even get that was voted down 357 to 65, I believe, to even like publish the like where is this money going? They won't even tell you that.
Yeah,
it's fucking ridiculous.
I'm against it. Good. I'm for transparency. I'm for the most transparent
president we've ever
history.
Yes, and the greatest friend to Israel.
Okay, where do you think we are on the prospect of civil war in America?
I'm against that.
Me too. We've had episodes before where we've kind of hypothesized that we could be close. It seemed like civil war was on the table, particularly I think around the last election.
Yeah, we've also talked about, some people have laid out like we're already in one, like a cold one.
Yeah, that's
right.
Yeah.
I don't think we are anymore.
Don't think we are in one?
No, I don't. And I don't think we're going to see a hot one. I think that I think it's a psyop.
Okay.
I think that we are being kind of led to believe that fighting amongst ourselves, the red team and the blue team, is something that's, we should consider.
Yeah.
Like a predictive programming thing. So that when the fighting starts happening, we're like, yep, well, we got the guns loaded. Let's go. We're out in the street. Yep. We're going to go kill some lefties or whatever. I think that it's just part of the two-party illusion, the us versus them, get the people fighting amongst themselves kind of thing.
I'm glad you're bringing this up because what I want to talk about later is basically the two-party illusion. And,
cool.
And
getting
out the left versus right paradigm, which doesn't exist.
Okay, let's take a break in a second. But first, here, check this out. So, I clicked on this YouTube video earlier today because I like Professor Jang and I like Dave Smith. And the caption is what got me to click on it. Sneeko questions Professor Jang and Dave Smith about how to prevent a civil war in America. And so I watched the whole goddamn thing, and there was zero mention of a civil war in America.
Didn't this guy Sneeko just get sucker punched on the sidewalk in New York?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I've never heard of him before this.
Head on a swivel.
But I just thought, like, well, what the fuck? Like, why are we being told there's going to be a civil war? And I'm clicking on this video, and two guys that I really respect and like listening to make no mention of civil war.
You don't respect Sneeko?
I'd never heard of him before I clicked on this video. I don't know. It doesn't seem like he does much. He just kind of sits there and looks at his fingers while these guys are talking.
Good work if you can get it.
That's how you get sucker punched.
Looking at your fingers. Kids, if you're walking down the street in New York City, do not stare at your fingers. So anyways, it just got me thinking about that. Like, I think the Civil War thing is, if there's going to be a Civil War, it will be the people versus the predator class. That's what it should be. They're going to be in their bunkers, and we're just going to be waiting outside for them to come out one at a time.
Yeah, I highly doubt we're going to go into some kind of civil war.
Me too. Should we take a quick break?
Yes.
I got an awesome break video for you.
I saw him the other day. He was a fighter for NorCal for a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
And he's 43. You know, I just turned 48. But I saw he had a good career. You guys heard of the Von Flew choke?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He invented it?
Kyle beat the shit out of Jason Von Flew.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So he was an up and comer. Had a great MMA record. I could pull it up, but he's 43 and he's asking me how does your body hold up?
Yeah.
Because he just kind of looks like he's wasting.
Is he still training? No.
No.
What'd you tell him?
I said, I don't know. I just train.
You keep
every
training.
day.
Just never stop training. Dude, when you take 5 or 6 days off of training, if you've been training, that's when something hits you. Yeah. It's in that rest period. If you wait too long, shit starts cramping up.
No, and I took all last week off. So
yeah,
can I grab
you're
one?
fucked. It's like my other buddy Nate Loughran said his grandfather told him if retirement kills you quicker than cancer. So it's if you ever just stop, especially as you get older, you stop doing the thing, the likelihood that you're going to be able to start again is
that guy
diminishing. Loughran?
Yeah, Loughran, man, he seemed like he was going to be the.
Well, he made it into the UFC.
Yeah, no, he did.
He had a bunch of weird things. But
you think the UFC is the easiest professional sport to get into?
No, curling.
Why would you say the UFC?
Well, I mean, professional football is nearly impossible.
How could
professional basketball?
That can be easy to get in the UFC.
I had this conversation with Dave the other day, and he was of the mind that the UFC is the easiest sport.
Like UFC or MMA?
UFC.
Okay.
He said to me, I'm paraphrasing, I might not have gotten this exactly right, but he's like, if you were younger and you wanted to get into the UFC, I could get you into the UFC.
Oh, it was okay. So okay. I was thinking physically. You're talking access, accessibility.
Well, for me, if I was 30 years old and I wanted to get into a professional sport, the UFC is kind of the only one available. Maybe curling. I don't know how hard it is.
David
a lot of competition.
Mitchell.
I don't know if you're kind of glossing over the fact that in order to get into the UFC, you have to win fights.
Right.
Are you saying I can't win fights?
Well, look who had
in a roundabout way. That's what weird.
Who had the best UFC career out of Norway? That was Dave Mitchell, right? And
maybe Terrell arguably.
Well, outside of Terrell,
Joe Soto.
What about that Soto guy?
But I think Mitchell had I think he was 8-1 in the actual UFC.
His record always.
And he was that was in the day when NorCal was super just a meat grinder, and that guy was probably. And I'm not trying to put shade on him in any way because
I will. He was too stupid to get tired.
Yeah, I mean, it was crazy how far he went that he even made it to the UFC, but how far he went with a enormously.
He was just very. His game was just. What's the word I'm looking for? Just mediocre.
Yeah.
But you go in there with confidence, and you're good at a couple things, and it just kept working.
So I think that is true then, probably.
They would say that about Greg Knoll, the surfer.
Yeah.
The bull. Yeah. He's the guy who like basically helped make the North Shore with riding big waves, like Waimea. And I don't think he did pipe. He was more known for Waimea, not Jaws back then.
No?
No. That was before Jaws. And, but yeah, they talk about it. I read his book, and the guys talk about him like, it's not like he was like a crazy good surfer, but he was just like, he'd get this look on his face. He'd paddle into a wave that like we had never seen anyone even try to get in a wave that big, and he had this look on his face like, I'm going, and he would fucking go.
Yeah, he was just like a big dude. Like
yeah,
a bowling ball and a.
He's just like, fuck it. What's the worst that could happen? I can die. Fuck it.
Pretty much.
Yeah, the UFC being the easiest professional organization to get into, that does highlight the fact that it's different in MMA and like jiu-jitsu, because if you want to train with the best people in the world in this sport, you just go to their gym. You know what I mean? It's not like you can practice basketball with anybody famous or even remotely famous if you decide you just want to shoot some hoops. There's all these barriers up, but fighting arts or whatever, like that's what it's based around. Show up and see what you got. So there is an accessibility level there, I think, that's different in this sport than any other, which maybe that's what.
That's true. I mean, that's a good point.
Like, I used to get on a plane and fly to some dude's gym and be like, I'm here because I saw you on fucking YouTube, dude.
There is something to be said. I could spend the rest of the day on social media and writing emails, and I could get a fight with Sean Strickland by next weekend. Yeah, fuck it. I mean, come on by. Like, accessibility.
Yep.
It'd be good for the pod.
Good tie-in. Good tie-in. Sneeko did exactly that.
That's right.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He fought Sean Strickland?
Well, he was hanging out with Jake Shields, and I don't know what the underpinnings of this story are, but basically Sneeko was in the cage with Strickland, and Strickland beat the absolute shit out of him, but he did not give up. But bloodied the fuck out of him. Didn't fall.
Was he talking shit to Sean Strickland? And
I think that's what got him in the cage. I think he was.
Yeah, and he might have said something that's
not a good move.
Sure, I'll spar with you or something like that. Which maybe that's shit talking. He did well.
Too dumb to give up?
I don't know Sneeko well enough to be able to say, but where are we at?
Jake, can I borrow those glasses?
Yes, sir.
I need my readers for this next segment.
Oh boy, going deep.
So, this is going to be just kind of out there because it's just an idea in my head. But I figure in honor of Jake's birthday, because when Jake moved in next door to me in my old house, I didn't know him that well, and I started hanging out with him. And then I remember one day my wife goes like, yeah, what's he like? I was like, he's a fucking weirdo. I was like, I love him. It's like I'm hanging out with this guy every day. So I figure, honor Jake's birthday, we're going to get fucking weird.
All right.
So, because I want to hear your guys' thoughts on this, because I've been thinking about this for 6 years now. And, like some things that they exist is like such an abstraction. You can't even articulate them to like bounce it off your buddy. You know what I mean? Like, hey, what do you think of this? I was like, I didn't know like how to really kind of word this. But then you have like a couple like kind of aha moments that make you kind of realize what's going on. Now, so I've been rereading probably for the 6th time, Ted Kaczynski's Industrial Society and Its Future. And the way that this whole thing got me started on this is I've been hearing more and more about people taking the GLP-1s.
What's that?
What is that?
Like Ozempic.
Oh,
that weight loss drug.
Peptides.
Is that what they are?
Yeah.
Okay, so what's your guys' understanding of the GLP-1s?
I've got no understanding of it. I just know that it's designed to be some sort of miracle lose weighty pill.
But it was designed for diabetes originally, and then
It's like every drug that they discover, they're trying to do something else, and then it gives you a boner, and they're like, sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
got that gastric.
Or it doesn't work for that thing, and like just sell it to these people. Give it to chemo patients. So as I'm looking into these GLP-1s, because I'm hearing about like more people that I actually know who are not even like overweight too, which is kind of odd to me. And
dude, like Kelly Osbourne, when you look at the before and after pictures of her,
they turned her Asian.
They did. Skeletal Asian.
Skeletor, yes.
But she was hot before she started taking Ozempic, and
Yeah,
now
she had
she
some
is,
meat on the
she looks like
bones.
she's
Yeah.
had AIDS. She just looks awful.
She does. She looks like an AIDS patient.
Ew. That's dysmorphia.
It is.
So hold on.
That's Kelly Osbourne?
Yeah, isn't that wild? She looks like an old
The before and after Ozempic.
old anorexic lady.
Yeah.
That's not, I mean, come on. You're going full Olsen twin on you. Wow. I don't know what that's a before and after of, but geez.
Yeah, that's rough.
All right. Well, she wasn't working with a lot to begin with.
So as I was looking, I think I've told you the stories. I was at a medical appointment for my son, and we were going through stuff, and I made some. It was when I first heard of these GLPs, first heard about Ozempic, and I had mentioned something to the doctor, like made some joke or whatever. She gave me one of these.
Right.
Yeah. I'm like, do you know about those? She goes, yeah. I was like, what do you know? She goes, that's not why we're here. But she knew something. And the GLPs now, because now so many people are on them, but they kind of remind me of like Trump's beautiful bill or Obama's healthcare reform or bombing another country or the COVID shots. They're like, what's the end result? Like, what happens? And they go like, there's only one way to find out.
Right.
And 75% of America goes like, all right, cool, let's roll those dice and just we'll see what happens. So I started looking up here's the physical side effects that we know of so far. Stomach pain, nausea, constipation, diarrhea, gastrointestinal issues, kidney failure, and potential thyroid tumors. But I wanted to know, because I've been hearing more about this, is like emotional side effects or the psychological side effects. Increased anxiety, depression, various mood disorders, irritability, emotional numbness, and lack of sex drive. And the thing that I've been hearing about the most now, because now like we're getting more and more data since so many people are on them, they're talking about like this emotional flattening. It's like which sounds similar to like your SSRIs.
Yeah.
It's just like, I just don't really, no peaks, no valleys. It's just the volume's kind of turned down on everything, which made me think, I believe that we were talking about it on here, is as the rates of autism just skyrocketed. I'm like, eventually we're going to have so many autistic people that the people who are not autistic are going to be the ones like the weirdos. The weirdos that can't count toothpicks that got dumped on the floor in 1 second. And I was like, if enough people take these GLP-1s, and they are, I was like, we're going to be, for the people that aren't on these drugs, we're going to be walking around like all these like NPCs that are just in this malaise that can't experience emotion or the natural world around them. That's just kind of like dazed around us, which I thought was kind of interesting to think about. And then it reminded me when I started like going back into the Ted K stuff. So you guys all know like the generalities of Ted Kaczynski and industrial society and its future, right?
Yeah, he basically predicted the world that we're living in now, where
everything
technology replaced things like happiness.
Okay. So let me throw something your guys' way, because I want to hear your thoughts on this. Because he wrote about like the Industrial Revolution destroying the human race slowly by turning it into, this gets a little weird, I'll explain it, into a social political order which subjugates the human needs beneath its own. And like in short is what he's saying is like, we're going to cross a threshold, because as we get this, okay, so when I say like technology, don't think of like the new phone or your Roomba or your truck talking to you or whatever. And you talk about a system, don't think of like government. Just these are like umbrella terms. Just think of technology as like all of the stuff. Like it's just everything, all the advancements that
every technological advancement.
Yes,
since the plow.
Yeah, because it's always sold to you. Like if you think about the beginning. Yes. So thank you for bringing up the plow. It's sold to us as like this is going to make your job easier, and then when you read all the Ted K stuff, he goes eventually you cross the threshold where humanity is adapting to the technology as opposed to vice versa, which it's supposed to be, which is what I think that we're actually seeing here right now. And so when I say like the stuff, it's everything from your Nest thermostat to your truck reminding you that you need an oil change every morning, to your smartphone, all the way down to GLPs and all of these things. That's another technological advancement, right? Because that's we've talked about before. Like, there's no free ride in nature. There's no free ride in biology. It's like there's no way to circumnavigate eating real food and exercising. It's like if you want to stay healthy, and all these technological advancements have given us like an entirely different food supply than human beings are supposed to eat. All the fucking chemicals and processed foods that are fucking killing everyone and making them fat and giving them diabetes and metabolic heart disease. And they go, well, we have another advancement to fix these other things that we already caused in the first place. And people like Ted Kaczynski and probably like us go like, if you just stop fucking with everything, we'll be fine. We don't need any of this shit. And that's what I kind of came to think of as like the system, like everything, all this shit out there. So it's not just the government. It's like this entire fucking thing.
Yeah, we always say like, God, if we could just go back to like 1995 and just put a break on every technological advancement since then, like how much happier we'd all be.
Or even 1950.
Well, I would remember when I was a kid, I remember in 1995, my parents telling me what it was like in the 50s and 60s when they grew up.
Yeah.
And I remember them saying like, God, it just definitely was simpler times back then.
Yeah.
And thinking like then, man, I wish I could have, grown up in those simple times like they had.
Yeah.
And now we're so much further ahead than or beyond where we were in 1995. I would do anything just to go back to that point that we were at.
We've become so technologically advanced that we figured out how to go to the moon again. It's fucking impressive.
Near it.
Around it. Okay, so this is like where we start getting into the weeds, but this is like really stuck out to me. This is from Ted K. Modern technological society is a totalitarian force, an order in which individuals are adjusted to fit the requirements of the system, and those outside the system are seen as pathological or bad. I was like, if there is a better way to explain the COVID years, lay it on me.
Yeah.
Like, that is so fucking perfect. That's what got me thinking of this, and this is where I tied into the GLPs, because it's not... You have to really you have to read that book like 6 times because you take more and more out of it. Because your first pass, you go like, yeah, he's not just saying computers are bad, okay, children. It's like that what he's saying. He is saying that, but he's saying because of our reliance on this technology, we're going to cross this threshold where we adapt to this system that relies on the technology, and it makes us reprocess like how we take in the world and how we view the people around us. And how we structure society, if that makes sense.
Don't you think that happened like with the invention of the spear?
Yeah, I mean...
Or the slingshot?
Or do you want to go back?
Yeah. I mean, as soon as that technology is available, that changes everything, and you adapt to that.
Yeah.
You can't go back to before the slingshot because you don't want to get taken out by the lion.
Well, you go back to fire. That would be considered technology.
Great example, yeah.
So the more that I was kind of reading it, I was saying he's like, we get to the point where the social order like gets arranged to such an extent that it develops this, and this is something I feel like I observe in my real life, like it develops this knee-jerk inclination that the system will provide everything for us. And that's that flip, you know what I mean? Like the system, these advancements are not here to make our lives easier to plow the field or whatever, or kill a lion with a spear.
Right.
It's like it almost becomes like an ideology of this thing. Like it's going to provide everything for us. It's going to provide the food and the food fucks us up, and they're going to give us a medication for that. And then we're going to have like a fucking pandemic. They'll give us something for that. You're like, it's all.
So like the technology isn't serving you, it's serving the system.
Yes.
And
you are serving
a
the
cog in
system.
the machine.
Exactly. And, with all this technology, of course, there's benefits. That's how it's always sold to us in the beginning. The printing press, for example, all the way up to now with a phone and everything. Like, it's going to make your life easier. But what Ted Kaczynski was saying, he goes, yeah, it's going to seem like it's helping you at first. He goes, but the downstream effects of all this is basically the end of all humanity, which I know is dark to think about, but he's not saying that within the realms of like an extinction event, like the Terminator, like wiping us all out. What he's saying is like humanity will adapt to the technology so much so that it won't be the human race that we knew of before. It's just going to be this entirely different thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he meant by like kind of losing humanity.
Yeah.
So to take it back to Ozempic, if you were to explain to someone, because they're talking about the flattening of emotions, and if you were to ask that person, you're going like, if you're going to go on these drugs, what you're doing is like eroding your human spirit. Like you're carving out your actual humanity. And if they were to give you, and I want to hear you guys' thoughts on this, if they were to give you the honest internal answer would be like, I wasn't really thinking about anything before these. So it doesn't really, I'm so consumed by consumerism and technology and fucking distraction. Like, right, I mean, what's the fucking difference? And that's what Ted K was talking about, of like, we're losing our humanity the more and more that we adapt to these systems. Thoughts?
Yeah, like it makes me think of when I was riding with one of my children in the back seat, and we were having a conversation about, I think, maybe something to do with school. And I realized that this child grew up in a world where they couldn't conceptualize being able to go to a screen and just get some information.
Yeah.
Right? So losing your humanity can mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people, but there's the generations are starting to stack up of kids who have been birthed into this world where they rely so heavily on, and they can't even conceptualize a world without being able to consult the oracle for literally anything that they're after. Whereas I remember going to the library to try to get information, going to little like youth camps where you're doing what would probably be considered primitive, skills of some sort.
The Dewey Decimal System.
The Dewey Decimal System. Nobody knows what the what microfiche, all that stuff's going away. Not that our society relied heavily on it by any stretch of the imagination, but it's kind of like in the world of athletics. Like, I don't take any supplements of, like maybe protein powder or something from a nutritional perspective, but I never wanted to augment what I was.
C4 every once in a while.
C4. Remember the old Jacked? I don't know. That's different. But, I never wanted to become something that was a byproduct of me plus some sort of
technology,
other thing, some sort of technology, because at the end, at some point, if you get used to who you are with those add-ons, will you be able to handle yourself without them?
Mm-hmm.
Or are you going to be driven in some pit of depression, or will you have some serious issues if you can't just get through the day without, being yourself plus nothing? It was always a scary prospect to me, and I never really crossed that line. That's from an athletic perspective. From an information or just worldly perspective, there's going to be nobody alive who was ever forced to work for their information at some point. And that time's coming soon. Because, I think those of us that were born in probably the 70s are the last generation that had to go out and scrounge for, needing to get some information.
Yeah, we more or less had this digital age dropped into the middle of our lives, more or less.
Well,
It's not that.
Go ahead.
Well, it's not that you don't still have to work to get information, good information. You do still have to work. The problem is that there's like fast information available on Wikipedia. And the first thing that you look at when you go right to the screen to find out the answer to your question is some like prepackaged junk food version of information that, I mean, I don't know if it's obviously the best information is the firsthand experience. If you know something because you were there or you've done it before, that's like the most valuable information. So, cause like I get into trouble on the podcast coming up with information that turns out is inaccurate later, and I'm actually working to try to find that information. So it's still something that you have to work for, but we've been poisoned with this like fast, like easily digestible, simple sugar type information.
That's true, but again, time keeps on ticking, and as the clock rolls forward and the generations, people are born into new environments, the time is going to come, and again, it's going to come soon, where all the people are going to be like more or less 100% reliant on having these tools at their disposal and be subject to all the games that people can use that information for. So, deep fakes, all this AI crap that makes it so daunting to find real information has been weaponized. And we talked about this last week. No matter where you sit from a, ideological perspective, you can find articles and videos and people backing up your position, no matter what position you're on. And the right and wrong, or the black and white ability to distinguish what's true and false is like antique at this point.
Do you think that used to exist though?
Well, there were certainly way fewer ways to muddy the waters a long time ago than there is today, right? John F. Kennedy gets assassinated. You could, you weren't going to find videos of, the Chinese shooters in the trees, or Russians, or whatever the case. They had to really pick a position and roll with it because they didn't have all the tools they have at their disposal now to kind of make up all these. Like we're sitting here right now and we don't know what the hell happened with Charlie Kirk. You know what I mean? Supposedly, dude got killed on video, and there's so much speculation. So much gray area about exactly what happened, despite the fact we have all these tools. You could find anybody saying anything about that, and it's tough to refute it in a lot of cases.
Yeah, it's the disinfo and the misinfo that's purposely put out to muddy the waters, especially with these things that are considered conspiracy theory as it is. And then you got all these crazy misinfo, disinfo things getting added on top, and then you hear somebody going, "Oh, did you hear, that it was an explosive that was implanted in his, neck or whatever."
Yeah, and part of what scares me is the fact that there's, the likelihood that there's some conversation of people that own media organizations or technology companies that say, "Oh, here's the game plan. We're going to confuse them with everything, and this is how we're going to get it done." Right? So
whereas previously it was just you get no information.
You either get no information. You said it earlier.
Dan Rather going like, "This is what happened," and I'm like, "Got it."
Yeah. The best information is always going to be something you saw, you witnessed, or maybe you got a friend of yours that comes back from the Vietnam War and says, "Nah, dude, what they're saying on the news is all bullshit. Here's what's actually happening over there." And then you have to weigh what they're saying. You got to run it through your own logic filter to determine whether or not you believe that. But nowadays, we talked about it again recently. We have no idea what the hell's going on in Iran or whatever. Like, you could find information out there to back up any claim that you can come up with. We're winning, we're losing.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about last week. We're just like, America is just cleaning house over there. No, Iran's winning. Oh, the strait's closed. No, the strait's open. You're saying.
So I got a little rabbit hole that I was going to bring up last week, but I didn't. You guys know what the Mandela effect is? So, like, what I'm kind of starting to, like, I'm not sure what's going on with the Mandela effect, but I do know how the Berenstein Bears is spelled originally. But it's like I think the Mandela effect is some type of psyop where it's making everybody question reality.
Right.
Like I remember it this way for sure. This is what happened. But then you have this Mandela effect thing saying, no, that's not what really happened. You know, there's people that remember Tiananmen Square, a guy standing in front of a tank and getting ran over.
Yeah.
Now, that apparently didn't happen.
The Tiananmen Square thing?
Yeah. I remember.
As far as obscurity goes, I think your deep dive on the Bernstein Bears is up there with mine on MC Snow.
But I know it was spelled Stein. Now it's
and yeah, like if there were a back room with a bunch of shadowy individuals in there saying, you know, our goal is going to be to just confuse the public. You know, what's that famous CIA director's quote? Well, we'll know our job is done when everything that the public believes is shenanigans, right?
It's false, yeah.
Yeah.
So here I had I've actually been thinking about this for 6 years now, something like that. And I remember having like an aha moment when we lived on Goodman. Remember we talked about Matthias Desmond and his work on mass formation psychosis? Mm-hmm. He was doing it in reference to the COVID kind of explaining irrational behavior. And are you familiar with this, Derek?
I'm familiar with the mass, but not.
So he kind of broke it down. He's a clinical psychologist. I think he's in Belgium. And he was saying, like, as we observe with our eyes and ears, you go outside like this, like nothing, everyone's fucking losing their mind. Like, what's going on here? You're with the masks and everything. He goes, well, they feel they have no power in the hierarchy. Having a mask feels like they have some sort of locus of control. Like, I can control this. And it actually it's like a security blanket, you know, with a little kid would have. And
your binky.
Yeah. And mine was a TT.
Okay.
That was his.
In case you were about to ask.
I didn't have one.
That was his point of view, though.
Yeah, he was breaking down psychologically, like, what's going on with these people. You know, he didn't mean it in a demeaning way. He goes, just as a psychologist, like, this is what I'm seeing. You know what I mean? Because, like, when you see irrational behavior, or, like, you know, when you see, like, why is everyone around me become a superstitious native all of a sudden? Like,
well, and then there were the opposite of that, where I didn't feel that was a security blanket at all.
Yeah.
I felt it was a control device, 100%.
Glad you said that, because this is like part of like my thinking back then. But I remember having an aha moment when he started publishing his work on mass formation psychosis. Immediately, all these counter articles came discrediting him and saying there's no such thing as mass formation psychosis. And I remember like looking at that, like seeing this, I'm like, okay, why are they coming after this guy? He's just a psychologist going like, here's what I'm seeing from a psychological perspective. I'm like, that's weird. And I assumed back then, just the way my brain worked back then, I'm like, this must be like a coordinated campaign against him. Like, maybe, I don't know if it's Big Pharma or something in the system gave the orders, like, take this guy down. Like, we can't have this shit. I realize now, thanks to Ted Kaczynski and getting a better understanding of like what he was saying, is it was not a coordinated attack, and it's more of what I was referring to earlier. There is the people that have an undying devotion to the system, the whole thing, right?
It's the immune system of the system.
Exactly. It will provide everything for us, and this guy is going against the system. And these people all these people that wrote those articles have this knee-jerk inclination. I'm like, they just go like, they probably don't even think about it. They're like, tear this guy down. And it's the same thing. We see all these like things that happen that just seem weird. They all kind of spontaneously kind of combust, and they last for 2 weeks, and then it turns into something else. It's these people with an undying devotion to the system, you know, all the stuff, and the reliance on all the technological advancements and how it's going to provide everything for us. Is they go, you know, they don't really think, you know, when they're flipping off Teslas for 2 weeks, and then it stops. And they go, they're not doing that because they think Elon Musk is a Nazi, is he represents someone who's going against the system, and that's a problem. Or the person that wrinkles their nose when you're like, hey, I heard on Joe Rogan, they're like, it's like, oh, do you not like him? They've never listened to Joe Rogan and heard something they disagreed with. They just know from the system that they're supposed to have this specific emotional reaction about this guy because he swims upstream, as we often say. What do you think of that?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That's very interesting. So the system itself has, since people have become a cog in this system, and the technology serves the system, not the people, and the people are fit into that just like a working mechanism in there, that when steps out of line and attacks the system, they act like an immune response and just without even thinking about it, they know their job is to attack that person.
Yes. Yeah. It's like almost like a biological inclination that they have, like this immediate response of like, we got a guy over here trying to step out of line, and we can't have that. That it was 5-6 years ago where I had to really think about Matthias Desmet coming out with that, and like I was like, it's so like seems so random. Like they're all just attacking this guy. And he's like, I didn't really say anything that crazy. Like that was almost kind of like an aha moment for me. I'm like, you realize like there's something going on, but it's like I can't figure out exactly. It's such an abstraction. I can't exactly figure out exactly what it is. Then you fire up old Ted K, and you're like, it's like I think I could put this into words. So, as Ted K says, this tendency gives rise to expansive police powers, mind-numbing mass media, indiscriminate promotion of drugs designed to conform to the needs of the technological environment. That ring true for you guys?
Yeah.
Check, check, and check.
Like how this was all pre-internet stuff, and he's using terminology like mass media.
Yeah.
Because back in his day, mass media would have just been maybe just TV.
News?
Yeah.
Newspapers?
Yeah, this is 95, I think, is when he...
Yeah, but he was setting the table, according to what you just read, for things to get way more,
like
broadcasted louder, I guess,
Yeah.
This made me think that, like, and this is just based on my own observations, but this is why I think when you talk to your friends on the left and told them that you went to church, and they kind of have like a nasty reaction to it because of their devotion to the system, they're like, okay, what you're doing not only doesn't contribute to the system, it's antithetical to the system. Because like we can't have, and this seems like a contradiction, which I can kind of explain, but basically their view is like, we can't have a bunch of people out there like thinking for themselves. That'd be fucking chaos. Now, if you were to explain that to someone, they're like, okay, like they would view organized religion and thinking for yourself as being antithetical, and it's not, because if the one resonating message that you take away from church, if you only took away one thing, is they say, your connection, your relationship to God is the most important thing. It's the only thing that matters, and everything filters down from there. For how you act on the planet, like what kind of a friend you are, what kind of a family member you are, and that God, whichever God you choose to worship, not my business. Like that's the only thing that matters at the end. So it's not like diametrically opposed kind of things. You know what I mean? It's like I have this thing that's bigger than it's above the system. This is all that matters, and then my behavior under this is like how I go through life. And you go like, okay, this whole system thing is not necessary, and I don't want to be a part of it.
I would quibble a little bit and say that Christianity is actually the threat, and that other religions are not the threat. And Christianity is somewhat unique in that, because if you told that same person that you were becoming a Buddhist or whatever, they'd be like, oh, right on.
This is very true. Because there's xenophiles. Like anything that's different than what I know in my entire life.
Or that Christianity has some special power that is uniquely threatening to the system.
Yeah.
And those other religions don't, at least in America.
What do you think about because the natural instinct of somebody bringing a a topic of conversation to you that you feel opposed to, that can be handled a lot of different ways. The sort of civilized way would be to sit down with that person, talk to them, and find out everything about their position, and then try to use your counterpoints to try to sway them towards your way of thinking. In a less civilized environment, it boils down to, oh, you think differently than I do about that. Now there's going to be violence, right? I'm going to attack you. Which you would think that in the quote-unquote information age, the ability to win over the opinions of people would be to present information. But it's so routinely, it just turns into, ad hominems leading up to physical altercations. Why do you think that is?
Probably because people aren't going to structured Oxford-style debates like the one that we are hosting on May 23rd. I want to give a big thanks to everyone that's bought a ticket, by the way, to that. The topic is, we're calling it the Great Gun Debate. It's 2A, Second Amendment versus gun control. And we have two very qualified debaters. So please, if you're going to be in the Santa Rosa area on May 23rd, buy a ticket on our website, or you can buy them at the door. Appreciate it if you bought them on the website in advance, and come see two people actually sit down and try to persuade the audience to their way of thinking using logic and information and civil discourse.
Leave your guns at home, people.
Yes. What do you think? Is that a good answer to your question?
Great. I just feel like, the technology's moved along, but the way people handle things has degenerated.
Big time.
Yeah. I think when there was less immediate access to information, people had a greater propensity to want to sit down and talk and share information, and again, attempt to sway one person to the way of thinking that seemed like it was backed by the most logic, as opposed to nowadays where we seemingly have access to all the information, and people are much more likely to sort of rage out on you just because you don't have the same team.
Like a degradation of civility has accompanied this.
Yeah, I'm curious what Ted K, if he
That's
noted
what he's
anything
talking
like
about.
that.
As I was saying, he's talks so much about like technology, and I was like, he's almost using it like a bit of a metaphor, because he's talking about, I think the thing that really been kind of resonating with me lately is like the way that as we have restructured for us to adapt to the technology has also restructured people's brains, society's brains, to restructure like the social order of everything. And it's when he talks about like if someone, appears to want to be stepping out of line or going against like what the system is telling you what's supposed to be true, that person is met with hostility. They're seen as pathological and bad.
When we were less devoted to the system, there was less of a reaction to someone that went against what the system expected.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, so as technology continues to evolve, people's capabilities of relaying, maybe that's what it boils down to, is one person's ability to interface with another has declined. And that actually could be because, they're dating AI girlfriends and shit like that. So, snowball.
Cats sleeping with dogs. It's all going to hell.
You sound your alarm. The Israelite. Get up in the morning, stepping for bread, sir, so that every mouth can be fed. The poor Israelites, sir. I said my wife and my kids at the back up and not leave me. Darling, she said that was yours to receive.